Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing fantastic today. My name is Joanna Carrion and I'll be presenting my multimodality project for my English course 1301. Now you may be wondering what exactly is multimodality. It's a bit of an unusual word, isn't it? Simply put, multimodality refers to a unique approach that recognizes communication and representation as being about more than just language. This concept is particularly intriguing because it directly relates to the topic I explored, which I'll dive into shortly. To put it simply, I'll be discussing based on my inquiry paper, where I argued that poetry often employs ambiguous language, allowing readers like myself to form personal interpretations and emotional connections. These connections are shaped by our unique subjective experiences, so it's not guaranteed that everyone will interpret a poem the same way. While you're free to develop your own interpretations, they aren't necessarily permanent. Think of it like a stance in a debate. Your perspective might remain consistent or evolve over time as you reflect and gain new insights. If you haven't noticed, musicians actually use poetry in their songs. Just take a look at the lyrics. They use poetic techniques to express themselves or to get their message across, hoping the listeners catch on to what they're saying without spelling out directly. That's what makes it so important. Even though musicians might have a specific meaning or message behind their songs, you don't always have to focus on the lyrics. Sometimes it's about the vibe, the emotions, or the feeling the music gives you. As shown in the slide, I'll be discussing the song Subways of Your Mind by Fex. This isn't just an ordinary song that everyone recognizes. It gained significant attention in the world of lost media. It was once considered the most mysterious song on the internet because for 17 years, nobody knew its title or the band behind it. Recently, however, a Reddit user identified the song while researching German newspapers. Not only was this big news for the lost media, but I was thrilled to have experienced this masterpiece during the time it was still unknown. I felt like a privilege to witness the journey and its eventual discovery. So during the time of recording, I did try my best to find the official lyrics behind Subways of Your Mind, but because it was only recently identified by the Reddit user, the band members of Fix have yet to release the official lyrics behind the song. So what I did do is provide the accurate interpretation based on my research and the videos from YouTube. So of course I cannot sing, but if I did, that would be very interesting. So here it is the lyrics. Like the wind, you came here running to the consequences of living. There's no space, there's no tomorrow. All we need is communication. Check it in, check it out, but the sun will never shine. Paranoid anyway, in the subways of your mind. Like the wind blowing from somewhere. Let a smile be your companion. There's no place for any sorrow. Time for young and restless dreaming. Check it in, check it out, but the sun will never shine. Paranoid anyway, in the subways of your mind. Check it in, check it out, but the sun will never shine. Paranoid anyway, in the subways of your mind. So the last four is, of course, the same repetition of the same four lines, but I'll only read one. Check it in, check it out. It's the summer blues. Tear it in, tear it out. It's a good excuse, and so forth. You may have noticed that I included numerous annotations alongside the lyrics, but there's no need to worry. You don't need to be an English expert or major to understand the definitions of these words, as they consist of vocabulary you're likely already familiar with. If you look near the title, you'll see a shift from negative to a positive sign, which I'll discuss shortly. In the first line of the opening stanza, it's clear that the creator is using a simile. This simile compares the wind to thoughts, illustrating how overwhelming thoughts can feel, so much so that avoiding them might seem like the only option. By the end of the stanza, however, the focus shifts to how expressing your thoughts through communication demonstrates emotional intelligence. In the second stanza, I interpret the creator's use of paradox in the statement that the sun will never shine on itself. Literally, the sun illuminates itself regardless of any condition. However, its light can be obscured by thick clouds, symbolizing how overwhelming thoughts can cloud your judgment. By the end of the stanza, the subway emerges as a metaphor for your inner world, a private realm of thoughts that exists solely for you. While others may not perceive this world, it reveals the intensity of your personal struggles. In the third stanza, the creator reflects on the solitude of navigating your inner world alone without guidance or comfort from others. However, they offer a poignant reminder that even a simple smile can shift your mindset. By recalling happy moments like carefree childhood memories or times when life felt simpler, you can reignite the passion you once had for pursuing your dreams. In the fifth stanza, the creator employs anaphora through the repeated phrase "check it and check it out" at the start of each line. This repetition serves as a reminder of the steps you take in your progress, encouraging mindfulness of your journey. It also reflects an awareness of your personal growth, emphasizing the importance of reclaiming and making up the time that have been overlooked as you continue moving forward. Lastly, in the seventh stanza, I interpret the theme as an epiphany. The creator comes to the realization that the overwhelming thoughts stem from depression, likely caused by negative experiences or personal events during the summer. This recognition highlights how these thoughts have held you back, serving as a justification for your reluctance to try again or seek happiness. The creator emphasized that the only way to escape the endless cycle of your inner world, symbolized by the subway's boundless transportation, is to come to terms with your struggles and develop the willingness to fight for your own happiness. On the following slide, you can see how my dear friend Emily perceives the poem differently. From her perspective, she interprets it through a lens focused on the negative aspects. Regarding the first stanza, Emily suggests that the creator is describing the struggle of navigating life and attempting to grasp everything around us, often leading to a sense of disconnection from others and the real world. In the second stanza, rather than seeing it as a paradox, Emily interprets it as a metaphor, suggesting that the creator is highlighting the impossibility of keeping up with life's unpredictable pace. She also notes that the subway mentioned in the last line of the stanza symbolizes the simultaneous experience of emotions and memories arising from the same internal conflict. Moving to the fourth stanza, Emily believes that the repeated reference to the subway represents a train of thought. This imagery reflects how emotions and feelings can pass by so quickly that we can only capture them in fleeting moments, often without fully realizing their impact. Lastly, in the seventh slide, Emily observes the contrast in the phrase "summer blues." She claims that the summer symbolizes positivity with its bright colors, while blues is traditionally associated with negative emotions like sadness and monotony, creating a stark juxtaposition that underscores the poem's emotional complexity. On the next slide, my dear friend Angie offers an interpretation somewhat like mine, focusing on the negative to positive aspects of the poem. In the first stanza, Angie identifies a simile in the opening line, comparing a gust of wind to unexpected impact on a person, reinforcing the idea from the previous slide that life is unpredictable. She also interprets the first line as an example of personification, as the wind is described as running, akin to a human being. Additionally, Angie points out that the creator suggests a sense of hopelessness about the future, emphasizing that whatever has been done or said remains unchangeable in the past. This perspective highlights the weight of unresolved actions or words. For this reason, Angie suggests that an attempt at reconciliation is implied with the poem. In the second stanza, Angie highlights the repetition interpreted as a call to action, a reminder to keep trying despite the inability to undo what has already been done. She views this as conveying a sense of pessimistic sentimentality, suggesting that while the sun symbolizes something neutral, neither inherently good nor bad, it also signifies something that will never grow into anything more meaningful or significant. By the end of the stanza, the person develops a fear of facing rejection or being given another chance, as they worry it might be ruined just like before. They also appear too distracted by the noise of the subway to notice the singer, which could symbolize a fleeting moment, a brief stop before moving on to the next destination. By the third stanza, Angie highlights the first two lines, where the singer acknowledges their uncertainty about the direction ahead due to the long distance. Despite this, the singer encourages resilience and hope, emphasizing that there is no place for sorrow. Additionally, the singer suggests that the individual needs to move forward, which could also imply an attempt to distract them by prompting them to reminisce about happy memories from their younger days. This is where it gets interesting. Angie argues that the fifth stanza reveals the individual's search for closure. She points to the repeated lyrics, suggesting they reflect the individual reverting to old habits of overthinking, which may have now spiraled into obsessive thoughts. In the sixth stanza, Angie suggests that the singer reflects on sadness coming to an end, possibly indicating that the speaker is reminiscing, which could symbolize a new beginning and a fresh start in life. In the seventh stanza, she interprets the word tear as feeling forced, implying an attempt to hasten the healing process that ultimately causes more harm than good. Finally, in the last line, good excuse, Angie believes the individual may be revisiting old memories with ulterior motives, perhaps in an attempt to extract a lesson from the past. Lastly, in the final two stanzas, Angie interprets the repeated lines check it in, check it out as symbolic. Check it in could signify showing up in the subway transportation system, while check it out might refer to revisiting or expecting something for quality or perhaps even changing one's mind at the last moment. She connects this idea back to the concept of tearing, suggesting it represents an attempt to inspect or revisit the past, searching for some sort of justification to validate the experience as a good excuse. Ooh, I'm going to stop that before it starts. So, while I've explored this song in depth, you're not required to share the same perspective as mine or that of my friends, as I mentioned earlier. Instead, I encourage you to listen to the song yourself and consider what it means to you. Remember, even though the creator knows the true intended message, you are completely free to form and share your own interpretations. So, here's the song.
There's no space, there's no tomorrow. All we need's communication. Check it out, but the sun will never shine. Paranoid anyway, the subways of your mind. Like the wind, blowing from somewhere. Let a smile be your companion. There's no place for any sorrow. Time for young and restless dreamers. Check it in, check it out, but the sun will never shine. Paranoid anyway, the subways of your mind. Check it in, check it out, but the sun will never shine. Paranoid anyway, the subways of your mind. Check it in, check it out, it's a summer blues. Tear it in, tear it out, it's a good excuse. Check it in, check it out, it's a summer blues. Tear it in, tear it out, it's a good excuse. Check it in, check it out, it's a summer blues. Tear it in, tear it out, it's a good excuse. Check it in, check it out, it's a summer blues. Tear it in, tear it out, it's a good excuse.
To recap, songs and poetry resonate differently with everyone, meaning no individuals will have the same exact personal interpretation. Musicians and poets often use ambiguous language to inspire readers and listeners to engage their imagination. While they understand that perspectives will vary, they value your appreciation for art and welcome interpretations that spark discussion or debate. This remains relevant in the real world, as there is no single correct interpretation. Before wrapping up this presentation, I'd like to leave you with a quote that might change your perspective on life. Happiness has to be fought for. At first I believed the mystery would never be solved, but thankfully I was wrong. This serves as a reminder that finding happiness is always an option. It's something only you can make that happen. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care.